I want to bring in Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. He serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. As you know, the White House responded to this announcement from those 3 European countries that they will soon recognize Palestinian statehood, saying, and I'm quoting the White House now, "The president is a strong supporter of a two-state solution and has been throughout his career. He believes a Palestinian state should be realized through direct negotiations between the parties, not through unilateral recognition." Congressman, do you agree with the Biden administration's position right now?
Well, thanks, Wolf. Thanks for having me. Yes, no, I agree with President Biden, and that's always been the position. First of all, these latest announcements are nothing new. There's already 140 countries that have gone out and unilaterally recognized the Palestinian state. I mean, there is no Palestinian state. I am for a two-state solution. I think there should be a Palestinian state, but it's only going to come with direct negotiations. Let's not forget a little bit of history here, which is we tried to create a Palestinian state in the 90s. Remember, President Clinton worked on that, offered East Jerusalem right of return, 95% of the West Bank, and the Palestinians said no, and that led to the Intifada. And so this is only going to happen through a direct negotiation between the Israelis, the Palestinians when they get new leadership, with the United States at the table to make it happen. And I hope one day it does happen. But this move actually is going to hurt the Palestinians. Norway was involved in making sure the dollars that are collected through taxes from the Palestinians go through Norway to get back to the Palestinian Authority. Now that Norway has made this move, Israel has pulled back their ambassador, and now Norway can no longer be a partner. So this move actually doesn't get us closer to peace, it gets us further away.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Congress yesterday that he'll work with lawmakers to penalize the International Criminal Court after it issued arrest warrants for Israeli leaders, including the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister. Listen to this.
We want to work with you on a bipartisan basis to find an appropriate response. I'm committed to doing that. As you say, the devil's in the details, so let's see what you got, and we can take it from there. But given the events of yesterday, I think we have to look at the appropriate steps to take to deal with, again, what is a profoundly wrong-headed decision.
Congressman, what action do you think should be taken against the International Criminal Court?
No, well, look, I agree with the Secretary there. There is bipartisan support here on Capitol Hill to have a response. I'm working with my colleagues across the aisle to have a very strong response. It's outrageous what the ICC did. First of all, Israel's not a party to that, nor is the United States. But let's talk about credibility for a second, right? Assad in Syria gassed his own people. He used chemical weapons. He killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. Hundreds of thousands of civilians. No arrest warrant was ever issued for Assad. Yet now they want to issue an arrest warrant for the leader of Israel. It's a double, triple, quadruple standard. Everyone sees right through it. And so now, obviously, the ICC is going to be further isolated by the United States on a bipartisan basis taking action against them.
Some members of the House and Senate, as you know, Congressman, they've actually supported the ICC's decision, including independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who said this, and I'm quoting him now: "The ICC prosecutor is right to take these actions. These arrest warrants may or may not be carried out, but it is imperative that the global community uphold international law." Congressman, how do you respond to Senator Bernie Sanders?
Maybe I missed it, but hopefully Bernie Sanders is calling for the ICC to issue arrest warrants on Assad, the leader of Syria. And so, look, there are people still here, Wolf, saying that Israel is committing a genocide, even though the President of the United States has said there's no genocide, even though Jake Sullivan has said, the National Security Advisor, is no genocide, even though the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, has said there is no genocide. There are still people here for political purposes saying it's a genocide. Of course, no one's saying that about what's happening in Darfur, where there's actually ethnic cleansing. There's no protests in the street. There's no campus protests, right? There's nobody walking around Capitol Hill fighting for the people in Darfur. It's always Israel. And so, look, again, there's a double, triple, quadruple standard, but there's going to be a bipartisan vote on a bill sometime in the House, sometime probably either the end of this week or next week, condemning what the ICC did.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida, thanks so much for joining